So we got that snow. It was about 5 inches, just light fluffy stuff. So I cleaned the driveway up this morning, just with the bucket. I just put the snowblower back on for some ballast to try to pick this up. I don't know where the center of gravity is. We're gonna try to pick this up and see what it weighs. Might have to get some ratchet straps to hold it stable. Well, it's at least 306 pounds. I'm going to get a ratchet strap and go from the back hook to the eyelet and try to get all the weight off the jack stands. Let's try this. Third time's the charm. $344.5. So we got it all up in the air there. That's what it weighs. 344.5. It's not too bad. We'll see how much snow accumulates on the backpacker to add more weight than that. But we're gonna carry it outside now and hook it up to the Scandic. Give it a test. I know we have no base and it's just fluff, so it's not really gonna be representative, but we're gonna give it a drag anyway. So there it is, sitting out on the snow. As you saw, it was 344 pounds minus a little bit of chain and 3 ratchet straps, so probably 340 pounds. So that could be tricky, tipping it up on edge when I'm not towing it, storing it against a tree. We'll test that out later today. But here's what it looks like sitting out on the snow. So I talked when I was fabricating it about putting the lawnmower blades on here, and they'd be slotted and I could adjust them, and I'd have triangle teeth in the bottom of the blades. But it was a whole lot of extra work and didn't know if this would suffice on its own. So we're gonna tow it around like this for a little bit. Basically, these are, I think, sway control pins for a tractor. And I knew I was using 3/8 flat plate, and they allowed for a little bit more play. So the tongue has enough articulation for the uneven terrain, and the mounting point on the snowmobile there, it pivots 180 degrees. So I don't think that'll be an issue. It's pretty easy to push around with one hand spinning it, but when I give it a little tug by hand, there is pretty good resistance, and it's not even cutting yet. So I'm kind of worried about off camber side slopes with it sliding down. Now there should be established banks on the side of the trail that the side of this angle iron should just ride along. But maybe in the future I have to put, I still have old plastic sliders like I put on the bottom of the tire groomer that I can just bolt through on 2 of them on the back of the packer to try to hold it from sliding side to side. That's pretty quick and easy. It would just leave 2 grooves underneath the packer plate. So we're gonna hook it up to the Scandic. I don't have any snow packed down, so we're gonna just try towing it in fresh stuff, see what it does, and then maybe I'll unhook it and do a couple passes with just the snowmobile and pack down, and then see what it looks like on a pack trail. Now the snow's not going to set up, it's all just the fluffy stuff. Try to capture some footage of it anyway. So there's the angle that it can turn at. So that's just contacting the snow flap right now, but you can crank it pretty sharp. It'll just deflect the snow flap out of the way, so you can probably go a little sharper. It shouldn't make contact with the bumper ever. Let's fire it up. So I just did 1 whole lap of the yard. I had the phone on my head on a head mount, but I switched over to slow-mo, and it fogged the lens when I went from inside the house to outside the house, so we lost that footage. But what I learned is, this is all fresh fluff, so none of it's packed down, not set up. So you do get a ton of buildup in here. I'll try to stop in the yard. It's if you go over anything that's irregular, it dumps it all out. So I just came over some old frozen snowbanks, lost it all. But the packing plate slowly builds up, so it's going to carry a ton of weight in there when it's wet snow. This fluffy stuff's not much, but I always have a shovel with me to empty it off if it's too much. When I had it heaped right up with snow and was going up a slight grade, you could already you're scratching for traction with the Scandic. But again, this is no base yet. We were grass until this 5 inches came there yesterday. As I was talking about side hill, sliding sideways on the side hill, that happened on every side hill in the yard. So I am, before I take it to the property, gonna put 2 old sliders off the rails of a snowmobile. So you'll be left with 2 grooves in the snow, but not a big deal. At least it'll track true, and it'll help a lot when you have the snowbanks on the side of the trail. So I'll try to drive by the tripod there and let you see what it looks like full of snow. So these are all frozen snowblower piles, and you can see when I go over them it empties out the front. But this right here, where Moose is standing, this track here, that was me cranked, so that's my tightest radius, and then cranked that way. Camera angle wasn't that good from where you were on the tripod, but we'll look at this side hill I did here. So there's my Scandic ski, right ski there. And that's how off track the Groomer slid downhill behind me. So we'll fix that. But not the right snow for a base. I'm gonna go around the yard to get these guys. The poop loop we call it. It goes in the woods, but I'll just drive the snowmobile to pack the snow that's in there. There's all these little stumps and stuff sticking up that the Groomer will grab. So this is only to be used once you have an established base. It works pretty good. Hookup was not an issue. I haven't unhooked it, but maybe we'll catch some footage of me trying to tip this thing on edge against something, a tree or something. I don't have any close to the edge of the property. I doubt I can lift it. See, it makes a pretty smooth trail behind it. I'm gonna go up a little bit of a hill here. You can see the snow flicking off the front cutters there quite nicely, actually. And that's me spinning. That extra snowbank there. I'm stuck now. We'll see if it backs up. It wouldn't back up at all, even with the little bit of 2 inches of spring hitch there. So we're just pick the back up with the tractor and see if I can get going again. So that's a very irregular terrain, which my first time taking this in the trail. It could look like that where it doesn't have enough snow to deposit in all the low spots, but a couple passes going in either direction, you can probably level that right out. I'm going to move the tractor and go the opposite direction and see if I can fill that in. So I just loaded up the Scandic with some more snow, but I have a spot there, and there, so by the time I get to this gully here, I'm probably going to run out of snow. So it's not bad. Once you get things smooth, I think it would have no problem maintaining it planed out, but it'll take a little bit to get the trail set up at the beginning of the year. Anyway, I'm gonna try, see how it looks behind the Scandic on the trailer, because it works pretty good that I might just bring it back and forth to the property instead of leaving it up there. Then I can use the tractor to stand it up. So it's not as simple as just driving it up. I knew the length wasn't going to be there, but it's just 2 pins to ditch the hitch and then slide the groomer forward and say 4 inches or so there. But just the design of this trailer, it won't climb up and on, and it's just wide enough, and there's certain tie downs that I'd have to flip up out of the way. So it's probably going to go up for the hauling season and stay up there. So we might as well try tipping it up against something. So I left the Scandic up on the trailer, shoveled off a bit of excess snow off the packing plate. Was able to drag it over. I just put a strap around the front of it. We're going to try to tip it up against the sled deck manually, because that's what I'll have to do up at the property. I do have that new come along winch, the rope winch, which could help. It's just slow. I have a pulley system that used to hold this plate up in the drive-in shed at the farm. I might steal and hang it in a tree that it's going to lean against all the time and use the pulley to help me, but we'll see how it goes. And the other thing I was thinking about, it's pretty tight in the property, so either I have to cut a turnaround for this, which is probably gonna have to be, judging by that, the tightest radius out there. I don't know, it's got to be like a 30-foot turning radius, the tightest. So pretty good turnaround. Now the whole center of the turnaround doesn't have to be cleared, but I do have to make a loop in the woods, or else it's gonna just be a pain in the butt to groom. So that's 350 pounds with that snow. Let's try to tip it up without anything. It's not light, so you have to be strategic. Can't get your fingers underneath the outside rail. These are up 3/8 of an inch. Definitely going to want all the snow off. So I'll sit against this. Probably hold it up right with the tractor. I think I'm going to put those old runners on the bottom of the plate and make sure they go around the radius. We'll see what that looks like now. So we just installed 2 sliders on the bottom, 5 bolts each. Just took the jigsaw quick, gave it some relief cuts for it to be able to bend around the radius, front and back. So that's it. I'm not going to try it out today. I'll try it out tomorrow. It was minus 19 this morning, and that was that nice fluffy snow, but as you can see, I'm stripped right down now. The sun's strong today, so I don't know what the temp is. It's probably maybe minus 5 at the coldest. A little bit of a wind chill. But the snow is going to set up overnight, so I want to see if it'll side hill on some snow with those runners with the snow set up. But that's it. So we're going to set it back down with the tractor, or set it somewhere on its side probably, and then load up. I'm going to head to the property tomorrow to pack the snow up there and cut that one big tree out of my way, and a turnaround for the groomer. So you say you want to build a cabin in a remote area. I was just supposed to come in and pack trail today. Oh. They definitely got different weather up here than we got. Holy. I'm just gonna go for a little walk before I get going at this. It is minus 21 Celsius when I woke up this morning, minus 19 now that the sun's up. But this mess. The sun's supposed to be strong and it's supposed to warm up the next couple days to around freeze again. 0 +2 some days, maybe not up here, but I think this is going to be a waste of energy dealing with this today, when some of this might spring back, or at least the trees will empty out in the next week and I won't be wearing all this stuff. I'm just going for a walk to see how if it's going to be a good distance or not, or if it's just a couple hundred meters. It's a couple hundred meters, I'll tidy it up and try to pack trail, but we definitely didn't get this down at the house. Looks pretty. Sun's just hitting the tops of the trees there now. So I've walked 300 meters or so. Had some open spots like I'm going through now, but you can see up ahead there, you can't even see through for the branches. So I think I'm going to turn around and not waste my energy. This particular section of the forest is going to be logged here this winter, and now that we've had a deep freeze, a couple days of minus 20, they usually get in here once the ground's froze with the skidders and bunchers, so they'll open this up for me and I can better concentrate my energy on something other than clearing trail this year. Anyway, so that's was a bust, waste of a drive, and packing things up. This is unreal. I've been up pretty well every week for a month now, and all I do is clear trail. Anyway, we're gonna head back out, pack up, and drive back to the house. And I'll test out my snow groomer, and I might as well add this footage to the snow groomer test. All right, see you back at the house. Well, we didn't want to completely waste the trip, so as you can see, I made it up to the trapper's cabin. So when I follow the creek bed up the other way into the property, avoiding that big steep hill from the last time I was in on the backcountry, That forest is way more mature because they never ever log that close to the waterways, versus the way I come into the new build site. It's logged every so many decades, and all that new young growth that comes up real fast. The lean over is just insane next to that trail. So unless you get into a different style forest and a more mature one, you're gonna deal with that lean over every time. Anyway, so we made it in this way because the temp minus 19, the water was at least the edges of those waterways were all frozen, so I made it in without an issue. So just gonna head back out, load up, and head back down to the house and give that groomer a test with the runners on it. So we made it back to the house here. It's late afternoon, and I just went around an old road allowance next to the property here, and you can see I had my 2 runners on here. So we made it back from the trapper's cabin. We only had to cut about 18 trees, I think it was, out of the way to go in that way versus all of that lean over. So it worked pretty good. So this trail I packed yesterday, then I installed the tracks. Yesterday the groomer slid down there. Today it just followed track straight, but we got to go over down the side road that is like a 2-track side road, so it's got a high center, and it was taking all the snow off of the center and depositing it in the ATV ruts. But then we got into the cedar forest to turn around, and there was no snow, and it was grabbing roots, and snapped a couple of tree roots. The weld's held up, so that's good, but we had to turn around. I had to unhook and spin it around, and because there wasn't a turnaround for it down there. But we're just out walking the dogs. It makes a pretty good trail. Just around the corner here, it went down and back the road allowance. There's a beaver dam up here that's all irregular, and it leveled it all out. So I'm pretty happy with the groomer. You just need snow for it to do its job, and we need more snow. So you can see we scraped right down to the dirt in the center to deposit some snow in the ATV ruts on the other side. But our blade caught tree root, snapped it up there. There's a little bit of a beaver dam right here, so it was really irregular, and there wasn't a lot of snow for it to accumulate and pack, but it did a pretty good job. Thanks again for watching Against the Grain Living. We'll see you next week. Might be a backcountry cock run video for you. Take care.